Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? My name is Bella. I am an international health expert specialist and the creator of the Sensefulness Method. Today, I'm here to address one of the key issues that we're dealing with as a society and as individuals alike: anxiety and burnout. I believe that we are fundamentally erring in the way we're addressing these issues in three ways. We have this mismatch between what we think anxiety is and what it actually is. So anxiety is not a mental health issue in its entirety. Yes, there are some mental health components to it, which are very important, but we are forgetting that by and large, anxiety is actually a physical issue. The reason our body is overreacting is because we're not providing it with a safe space to regulate the nervous system. Our bodies, whether we like it or not, evolved in the ancestral times when our ancestors were roaming through the wilderness. So we're equipped with an incredible systems to activate our fight or flight response. This happens without us thinking. It's not a rational thing. When this happens, our body goes into anxiety, into stress, into burnout if not addressed properly. Instead, we're trying to solve the issue rationally and completely focusing on the mind, learning and acquiring more knowledge and doing these interventions that are really focused on the mind only. Anxiety, in my personal experience and in working with clients doing research, is our body's breakdown from experiencing so much stress that the nervous system simply is dysregulated. In order to move the needle in these issues, we really need to create a safe space for people to feel safe in the first place, at workplace and at home. That environment in which we live is constantly sending us cues to be on alert, to be in fight or flight. And when this happens for prolonged periods of time, our body starts breaking down and it doesn't know how to control. The nervous system goes into dysregulation, and actually so do the immune system and hormonal systems. And that's why we're seeing so much inflammation, so many hormonal issues, and many of the chronic problems actually start here. So if we focus on preventing anxiety and burnout, not only are we going to solve the issue of burnout, in productivity, creativity at the workspace, but we're also going to prevent, I venture to say, like the majority of the issues, chronic issues that we're seeing on the rise in our society, both mental and physical. The other thing that we're doing incorrectly is that we're addressing the problem when it's too late. We're not focusing on prevention. Prevention is the single most effective method to prevent these issues from happening in the first place, saving a lot of money on an individual and societal, corporate level. Instead, all the interventions that I see at the corporate space are focused in addressing the problem when it's already too late. For example, large institution, I'm not going to mention names, an individual suffered from a heart attack because of stress. And the company decided to implement a hotline to, call them when you're experiencing the stress. But if you're already in that space, it's too late. So the only way to address the issues are, at the root, to understand why we're experiencing anxiety in the first place. And I venture to say that there are very simple interventions that we can, where we can create the environment to be less stressful, to be more regulating to our nervous system. An environment where our basic human and physical needs are met. Fundamentally, we are misunderstanding how our physiology works, and we are erring kind of at the way that we have constructed our workplace, the way that we do, day-to-day business, the way that we live our life on a daily basis. And lastly, that we are simply not paying enough attention to this. And this is one of those issues that is going to slowly erode the fabric of the social fabric, the work environment. It is already doing that. The costs at the corporate level of anxiety and burnout are unprecedented level, and people suffering from anxiety on medication has never been as high. So we are just simply not addressing it at the level that it should be addressed. So what are some of the simple tools that we can use to actually reduce anxiety? First of all, our physical needs need to be met for safety and for feeling a certain level of peace, right? So when we create an environment of high stress that is not only not conducive for productivity and creativity, but it creates unnecessary stress that leads to anxiety and burnout. So transforming that environment is of key importance. Encouraging individuals, not just giving them classes and like the passes to gyms, but actually encouraging them in a measurable way to engage in physical activity. Physical activity is one of the key elements of preventing anxiety, because if your system is experiencing this high level of stress, it needs to get out of your body. Your body needs the movement to get back to equilibrium. Your body will do it by itself if it is allowed to move. So we stimulate the mind too much, but we don't allow the body to move. So we need to be moving more. We can't be sitting for 8 hours straight. It is absolutely unhealthy at every possible level. Nutritionally also, we are forgetting that there are a lot of nutrients that actually prevent stress, anxiety, like the vitamin B complexes, vitamin D. We need sunlight in order to reduce our stress. And for the hormone regulation as well, sunlight is extremely important. So exposure to nature actually is another reason that, when we are stuck in a space that's completely filled with artificial lights and zero natural elements, that puts our body at a high level stress, because that's not the environment that our body is used to. So adding green, having windows that really allow for sunlight to come in, having fresh circulation of air is extremely important for reducing anxiety. And it happens at a very subconscious level. Our bodies simply relax when we have that. Having an environment that's compassionate, where communication exists between parties, where we're allowed to make mistakes, and where there are support systems created is key as well. Individuals, in the ancestral times, when you were singled out, you weren't part of the support system. That was a life-death situation. So again, our bodies react to this kind of environment with high levels of stress. Additionally, we need to be doing a lot of breathing and mindfulness, exercises. My method is actually called Sensefulness, which is similar to mindfulness, but it's really about dropping into the body, embodiment. For example, if you're feeling the stress and anxiety, you need to release it either through movement or through sound. Or if your body gets tense, it needs to be able to release the tension. So all of these, movement, breath work, sound, exercises, also, making sure that you have space to let your mind speak the things that are bothering you is very important as well. So having these support groups or being able to share what you're feeling is key to preventing it. So there are very low cost interventions that are available to prevent one of the key issues that we're dealing with as individuals, at the corporate level, at a societal level, and we're not doing them enough. So at IMbody Wellness, my key goal is to really bring this very simple low-cost interventions to individuals and companies so they can thrive, so they can feel better, so they don't have to be away, on medical leave. Instead, they can invest time in their own well-being to thrive. and to create and produce better. But the foundation of health and well-being has to be a priority, not because it's a moral thing to do, but because it actually increases your creativity and productivity. And so if you'd like to learn of ways that we can work together, please get in touch with me and the network of individuals, incredible professionals that I work with, so we can bring these solutions to your company.